Hello YouTube art lovers. This is the tutorial on how to paint a lighthouse in watercolor. What I'm doing is I am going to draw very lightly a simple lighthouse scene in video 1, and then video 2 I will ink the lines that I drew and erase the lines that I don't want. Video 3 will be coloring the composition, and then when that dries, video 4 will be adding the shadows and the darks to finish the painting. And that 4-step process is what I use for every one of my paintings, and this is what works for me, and it's a real easy way to create a coloring book-like simplicity to your paintings. And it's a good first step, because when this is complete, it's very easy to take this drawing and this painting and then just scale it up, because you're so familiar with the subject matter at this point. You can make a regular wall-sized painting very easily with just larger paper, more paint, larger paintbrush, etc. So here what I'm doing is I'm very lightly sketching a lighthouse, which is a cylinder. Here are the two sides of the cylinder. I put on a little railing. That's where the lighthouse keeper walks, and above that is a area where the light is. Every lighthouse has to have a big bright light, and I'm going to color that top part yellow in phase 3 of this tutorial. But now I'm putting on every lighthouse usually has a building or two for tourists, and they sell souvenirs and things like that. And it is surrounded by some beautiful foliage. Here's another outlying building that I'm drawing. Let's see. From here I'll go down, and I'm going to draw some land, some more trees, and I'll draw some rocks, and I'll kind of, from here just kind of watch. Here's another tree in the background that I'm drawing. That'll be behind this building and also behind the lighthouse itself. Okay. Now, because my lines are so very light, these are just guidelines. None of these lines are permanent, so I feel very comfortable in just drawing overlapping shapes and then going back and erasing the shape that's behind another. And it really makes for a nice composition without having to commit to what's in the foreground or what's in the background. And if you press too hard here, it'll be very difficult to erase. So you really have to get used to drawing very lightly so that you can just lightly erase. And I make hundreds of mistakes at this point, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take a look at the composition and decide which objects I want, which objects I don't want. Okay, that is that'll be the horizon where the sky meets the ocean, very far away. And just a few more lines up in the top of the lighthouse. This lighthouse is a little thin. I'll probably wind up making it wider, but you don't start out. The first line that you draw is normally not the line that you want to keep, but you can only go from line 1 to line 2, so you have to put down information in terms of these objects and then edit them. So again, keep a very light hand, very light lines, and see here I am widening that lighthouse just to make it a little bit wider, more attractive. A couple of trees in the background, and I'm not worrying about any details here. I just want to get the big shapes in. And yeah, that's about it. This is the same process for every painting that I do. I try to simplify complex shapes into triangles and rectangles and cylinders and circles